before.
remember?
They
came
brought
before.
us over.
They brought
Yeah,
you over.
but you had to have a sponsor.
Right.
Or somebody guaranteed
Yeah,
that they would, you wouldn't fall a burden to the government.
right.
So they guaranteed
Oh.
our living there.
Uh-huh.
And we traveled back and forth a lot with that brother.
Did he, was Saul, Saul was his son, but
Yeah,
he changed his name to Silver. He cut it short.
this I didn't.
Yeah, it was Saul
I don't
Silver.
remember. You must be right. I don't remember. And he eventually got married, and her father,
Yes,
this is much, much later, had an affair
with Saul's Silver's
Saul's
wife.
Oh, your father, after he was married?
Nothing.
Of course, after he was married, or he wouldn't have been my father.
Or it wouldn't have been an affair, yeah.
Okay.
Did you know about the affair?
I was too young, but I know who.
How old were you
Well, how old was I?
when he had the affair?
Probably when they went up to the country. I remember going with Aunt Frida to Cahongston. And then my mother and father came up with my brother was maybe 2 at the time. And I guess, what was her name, Anne?
Yes.
And that's who he had an affair with. But I don't really recall what she looks like.
And what was Aunt Rose's?
My brother?
Mom, what did Aunt Rose do about the affair? Did everybody know in the family? Was it an open?
Well, eventually we all knew about it. Yeah.
And how did Aunt Rose handle this with her
Well,
husband?
like she would handle, it didn't matter that he was a cousin, but the idea that he was unfaithful. Of course she was very unhappy like any woman would be.
And did she talk to her sisters about her unhappiness?
Well, there wasn't much discussion about it. We just accepted it as a fact.
It's a different era.
So, Aunt Sylvia, to go back to the boat, so did your father come over with you, or did he come over first, it sounds like? Your father.
Oh, my father was here 6 years.
He was here 6
He
years.
had to become a citizen to be able to bring us over.
Oh.
So he was here 6 years and worked all the time and saved the money to bring us
Did
over.
he,
With Irving.
with Uncle
With
Irving, he
Uncle
was here.
Irving.
He was, yeah. He
The two of them.
went here
Oh.
first with my brother, my oldest brother,
With
Irving.
you. And do you remember when he came over, how that all happened, and
Yeah, I
How old
remember
you
that
were?
very well. What happened was that they detained you. You had to stay one night on the boat before you could disembark into New York.
yeah.
So my father paid somebody off so he was able to sneak up on the boat and he saw us. My mother was thrilled.
So that
We were
was
all
when
happy.
Did you come
came.
to Ellis Island?
That when he came.
Oh, I went through it. I was 8 days in Ellis Island, and it was the worst time of my life. It was a horrible place.
Why 8 days? Why were you on Ellis Island for so long, for 8 days?
Because they had an awful lot of people. They guess they did not. You had to go through a lot of stuff. Mainly, and that's why my mother, they said my mother cannot come to America because she had a bad eye. So that was, a terrible tragedy for her. But my father met somebody, and he paid him off, and they let my mother through.
So
When
tell
you-
us more about Ellis Island. Tell us more about what it was
Well,
like for you.
There was hardly anything to eat, very dirty. The conditions were real bad in Ellis Island. And the people fought with each other. It was a terrible place.
Where did you stay during those 8 days?
Well, wherever they assigned you, one room for every family.
And was it,
Some
it
of
was,
us slept on the floor.
yeah, so it was immigrants from all over? It was
Yes.
mixed?
I'm all
Yeah.
over.
So where did you meet people from other countries at that point?
I
or-
don't remember.
Uh-huh.
I remember talking to other people,
Yeah.
but I don't remember the details.
Sylvia, you said that you were sick on the boat coming
Yeah.
over,
Yeah.
but before you left from Poland to come to the United States, do you remember how you felt about it? Were you excited to be coming, or were you sad to
I
be
did
leaving?
not want to leave. I was very broken-hearted. I didn't want to go to America because I wasn't adopted. My mother didn't totally give me up. But the next door was a couple who were childless. And they loved me. And they lived right next door to us.
Which
And
side?
I got to love them and I didn't want to leave them. And they were very broken-hearted. that
With
we
the tree,
left.
the place where there was the big tree, is that where? The place where there was that big tree, is that the one?
I don't remember. I don't
Remember when we went back to Poland, you showed us, we were looking at where there was a big tree?
No,
No, not that one.
Uh,
So when you were in Poland, and you stayed, you know, just with your mother and Frida and Rose, so how did you, who took care, you know, your father wasn't there, did he send money back, or how did
He
you?
sent back every penny he made.
So that's how you were able to
Oh,
live
we
while
were
he
very
was
well
in,
off.
while he was in America, cause he sent you money.
Were there a lot of families that had the same situation where the fathers had gone away, or in your village, were you the only family whose
No, there was
father?
another family. There were 4 sisters that I told you I met when I once went to New York for a visit. And they were in the same situation.
So it wasn't unusual to have a father away for so
No,
many years? And
No,
that-
and my father was away most of the time anyhow, because he worked for the government, and he had to go wherever they sent him. So
What-
my mother was alone most of the time.
So what
She-
did your,
She didn't take care of us.
What happened during World War I? Do you
Well, that's
remember, did you
something-
have a brother that died?
Oh, you're going way back. My mother had 9 children. 2 of them died. There was an epidemic. It was an outbreak of cholera. 2 of them, my oldest brother, his name was Zalman. Zalman.
how old was he when he died?
He was the oldest, but the oldest.
He was in the
So he-
hospital with Bubby. They were both in the hospital
so-
together,
Uh-huh.
right?
Do you remember
Remember
that, Sylvia?
I remember there were 2 of them, yes.
Because my mother, it was Bubby and him, and she made it and he didn't.
Oh my God.
So your mother had cholera?
Yeah, and she remembers that that the doctor gave
My
her this
mother,
black
whatever
stuff.
And then
outbreak
there
it
was
was.
another brother.
What did they
The
do?
oldest brother, Zalman.
And then wasn't there another one? Or was he the
No,
only
a
one?
girl. There was a girl who died also during this epidemic.
How old was she?
She was about less than 2. She wasn't even, she couldn't walk. She was only a few months old.
And what was her name?
Her name, I don't remember her name.
Then there was the one who swallowed the penny.
Yeah, there was that.
There was one who swallowed a penny and choked.
Yeah, there
And
was
was it death
another one who,
No.
she
We
didn't
don't know
swallow
anything
it.
about
Somebody gave it to her.
Is that
She
what?
didn't just go and swallow it. One of my sisters,
I thought Aunt Frida was the one that.
well, I didn't want to mention
I
it.
never remember.
And what was her name, Aunt
She
Sylvia,
did,
that
she
girl?
put, she fed her a penny.
Oh,
What was that girl's name?
It was a terrible time.
Was she a girl too, or a boy?
A girl.
A girl.
was your mother angry at Aunt Frida? Did she take it out on Aunt
No,
Frida?
not at all. My
Because
mother
they were
wasn't
young.
stupid, it was an accident. Frida was only 2 or 3 years old herself.
Small,
So Sylvia, tell us a little bit more about your memories of Poland. It sounded like you were happy.
In Poland, I was the happiest person because I belonged to Shomer Hatzair.
Oh, you too?
And I spent my days there. We went to so many places. And I remember almost every day we took a hike.
In English, what does that mean? That word?
Show me how to say here.
What does it mean in English?
In English it means something about taking care.
No, it's
Yes,
it's
yes,
a
yes,
guard.
it's true. The
You-
young guard, the
you-
young
What does it
guard.
mean?
Young
Young
guard.
guard is
You
something.
know.
Yeah, younger.
Guard,
That was.
it's taken
And
care
I had made the best. I had such wonderful friends.
Do you remember some of your friends?
Oh, I remember them so vividly.
Tell us about some of your friends.
Well, I just tell you that they loved me,
Mm.
and I loved them in return. And there was and we met every day after school. We got together, and I had a boyfriend. He was also he belonged to the same club, Hashem Celia. And we were very close. I didn't know if I knew that time it was a boyfriend, but we saw each other all the time, and we took walks, long walks in the woods.
What was his name?
Joseph.
So you were young, you were like 12, 13
It was about 2 years before I
before you left.
left, and that was the reason I hated to leave. I had a very wonderful life in Poland.
Did you write to him? To this man, Joseph, this boy?
I liked him very much, and when I came here, we started to correspond.
You did? Wow.
Every day I got a letter, and I reciprocated.
Do you still have the letters?
But I want to tell you something very tragic happened to those letters.
So Uncle Saul tore them up
He
probably.
once went downstairs
Who
to
once?
the basement.
Who?
Your dad.
And he found these letters and he burned
He
them.
burned
But he
them.
couldn't even read them.
You
They
think
were
he was
in
jealous?
He didn't have to read them. He just didn't want them around.
How long did you correspond with this Joseph?
A couple of years.
Do you know what happened to him? Did he come
Yeah, I know
over, or-
definitely. Because when I went to visit on the street in Israel,
Yeah.
they have, I forget the name of a place where they have a record. Where of all the people who died.
Yad Vashem.
And they looked him up and they
And they
told
found
me
him.
exactly.
So he died in the Holocaust.
In the Holocaust?
Yeah,
Do you remember my mother, do you remember when my mother left to Vienna? You were small.
I remember the whole town went to the play to see her off.
The whole town went
Went to the train,
to see my mother off?
yeah.
Really?
They did that to us too when we left. That was all the Jewish people.
Did you go to a public school or was it a Jewish
It
school?
was a public school. And I hated my teacher. And
Why?
because she hit me, I was Jewish. She was such an anti-Semite. She was a terrible woman. And she picked me, and there were a few Jews, very few. And she picked us out and was very miserable to us. She used to hit us.
This is your
You had to
school
hold
teacher.
your hands out. She would hit you with the ruler, and it hurt. And she put us up on the stage, and they had to cut my hair. There was an outbreak of lice or something. So my mother didn't treat me with medications, but she cut me completely bald. So I was very embarrassed, very ashamed. So she bought me a very nice kerchief, my mother, and I wore that kerchief. But when I got to school, my teacher put me up on the stage and made me remove the kerchief.
Oh my God.
It was,
Why did she do that?
because she was an anti-Semite.
Yeah.